Hey folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. We're North Georgia's only live online morning show. Quickly, for our viewers this morning, before we start with the Minister of Truth here, put up all the social media ways they can contact the show so they can find this segment later. All right, now come back. We are now joined on the line, the Minister of Truth, Derrick Grayson. Mr. Grayson, how are you this morning?
Brian, I am top of the morning, and thank you so much for having me on your show. It's always a pleasure.
Okay, so now we're going to switch things over because I want to talk about racism in America. And that's our topic. We can go anywhere else. We're not closed off to that. This is the internet. We got plenty of time. But that's our topic. Now, you have a picture on your Facebook page, and you always put something up and you say, the look you get when, right?
Right.
You always,
Yeah.
The look you,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we're going to use that. Now switch over to that picture, okay? So this is Mr. Grayson, and this is the look you get when. So that's what we're going to do this morning. The look you get when we talk about racism in America. Just go with what you have been hearing the last couple days. Do you feel the president's tweets, his comments, if you don't like the country, leave, whatever, can you find anything in his comments that are racist?
No, I do not. But that doesn't matter to the media. And a lot of people don't understand the term ignorant. They think that you are denigrating them when you say things like, why are you doing this? You're doing it out of ignorance, and it simply means one having no knowledge of a particular thing. See, Brian, I know what racism is. I've studied it. I've experienced it from certain individuals. But as far as institutional racism that once existed during Jim Crow and the era of slavery, that is nowhere to be found. Anybody in America can achieve whatever it is they would like if they simply have the wherewithal within them. Even if you have individuals who may be racist, you just simply go around them, go over them, go under them, or go through them if you need to. But this institutional racism that they are still pushing, it is a tool of the devil. It is a tool used openly by Democrats and covertly by rhinos. But as far as a concerted, institutionalized standard, no, it's non-existent. And what Donald Trump said is what any reasonable person would say, and that's it.
Well, I got to ask you this. I mean, obviously, I know you and I know where you're coming from, and I read a lot of your stuff. But I'm just going to ask you directly, as dumb as it sounds. Do you feel that Donald Trump is a racist? Do you feel he is a racist?
Donald Trump is not a racist. Donald Trump has done more for the black man, or as I like to say, the Negro, which is synonymous to black for those who think that I'm being derogatory. He has done more for the black man since, and I'm going to leave John F. Kennedy and Eisenhower out because although they attempted civil rights, they were not successful because of the Democrat Party. But Donald Trump has done more for the black man since Abe Lincoln. Okay? That's just a fact. Black unemployment is lower under Trump than it has been in history. Donald Trump, through Kim Kardashian, has been responsible for the release of, I believe the number is either 15 or 17 Negroes from prison who were unjustly incarcerated with long sentences that they did not deserve, but because of Joe Biden and the war of drugs, these people's lives were ruined until Kim Kardashian stepped up to a president that was willing to do something about it, and he gave us criminal justice reform. So he didn't do like the other presidents, wait until the end of their term. Donald Trump has been releasing people, pardoning them right now.
I like that point. Not to interrupt you, but I want to get in on that just for a second. I really like where you just went, because presidents at the end of their term, or when they know it's done, they have these mass pardons and you know, like the last 3 weeks. Trump has been doing things like this from day one of taking presidency. So I appreciate that comment. Joe Biden's running around talking about the Democrat candidates. I don't want to switch gears to that, about black incarceration, when I hate to put it this way, Biden was right there helping round them up, and he was in the Senate when even Clinton did the crime bill. So the Democrats have been leading the way, rounding up young black men and incarcerating them in record numbers. Trump has actually turned it around. And I don't know, I say he doesn't get credit, but I appreciate what you say. And I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
That's okay. I'm glad you brought up Joe Biden. Joe Biden was the author. He drafted the crime bill.
I get it.
And here's something, Brian, that I don't understand. And I tell people that I'm going to go somewhere with this so that people understand why I get so frustrated. But I do still understand, because as Jesus Christ said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. People don't understand, but if they were to take the time to pick up a book, or even, you can even use Google with its altered search results to get you to lean towards one way, but every now and again you can pick out the truth. And I tell people all the time, you got to learn how to eat the meat and spit out the bone. But Joe Biden rallied with the guy from West Virginia, I think it was Robert Byrd.
Yes, sir. KKK, Robert Byrd.
Yes, to keep schools segregated. And I don't know, the press won't even bring it up. And Joe Biden gave himself away when he said, well, you know, we worked well with segregationists. But they're missing the whole point. This guy helped Robert Byrd to try and keep schools segregated. And I don't understand why the press won't even bring it up. They won't even mention it.
I got a couple questions. I want to make sure we got time. Let me switch gears just for a minute, Derrick. Josh, put up number 10 and then go back here. Put up number 10 for a minute. And what we have on the screen that you are not able to see is I have a picture from yesterday. I watched the press conference. I watched the media. Now, the President of the United States had a manufacturing. He had a 100% American-made manufacturing event at the White House. And the media turned it in when he opened it for questions. The media turned it in for the first question of him doubling down on racism, okay? He didn't even go there. The media did, and now they're blaming him for his new comments that he made. But what I have on the screen, from one corner to the other, and I don't remember all the ladies' names, I have the representative, I think, from Massachusetts. She is a black female American. Then the second one, I have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She is Puerto Rican from Queens. She's Puerto Rican American from Queens, okay? Then I have Relisha Tabid, or what, I don't know her name, but she is Palestinian. She is Palestinian from Michigan. And then finally Omar, which is Somali from Minnesota. Comment on what's going on with these four and how the media is trying to spin these women of color and paint Trump as a racist. Go with these four right now and what you're seeing happening with these four individuals. Come back to Derrick's picture, please.
Well, first off, what what people have to understand about these four is they were backed by a specific group or groups of individuals that are as far left as you can get. They are trying to take over the Democrat Party because the Democrat Party, in their eyes, and one of those groups are the Young Turks. So I don't know if your listeners or viewers are familiar with the Young Turks.
I am.
Okay, and a group out of Silicon Valley. They backed a number of different politicians to unseat what you would call establishment Democrats, because in their eyes, the party is not far left enough, not progressive enough. So what's happening? These four women are trying to sway the losses amongst blacks, and they are trying to gain more support amongst illegals. Blacks have been a tool of the Democrats for years.
Right.
And the way the Democrats were able to use them as their tool was to keep before them always how racist America is. The Democrats put in place a brilliant strategy. They had the loss of slavery, okay, in the Civil War. They had the destruction of Jim Crow. They had the defeat of trying to repeal the 13th and 14th Amendments. Then LBJ was forced to sign the Civil Rights and the Civil Rights and the Voting Rights Acts of 64 and 65.
And LBJ, stay on that roll. But LJ, whatever, he knew how to use the N-word now. That dude knew how to use it when he need, right? You know that.
He did. Yes, he did.
All right, keep on your roll, because every time LBJ comes up, I think,
right.
I'm sorry. Go on.
That's all right.
Keep on.
So with that defeat, the Democrats said, okay, we cannot defeat these Republicans. Our next move is we need to infiltrate the party. See, there's a lie going around that the party switched. Well, that's another lie from hell. And every time somebody brings it to me, I tell them, okay, tell me at what point in time and give me the names of all of the Republicans that got up, moved over to the Democrat Party, and all of the Democrats that got up and moved over to the Republican Party. They can't do it because it didn't happen. What happened, the Republican Party was infiltrated by Democrats, and I call them rhinos, Republican in name only. And in the Republican Party, it is infested with rhinos. People like David Perdue, who is pushing another bill to limit gun control, where if you fail a criminal background check, that information is going to be reported up to the Fed. Anyway, I posted it on my wall. But people don't understand that about the Republican Party. They covertly give aid and comfort to Democrats, and they silently pray that Donald Trump is defeated, because Donald Trump is overturning the money changers tables of both establishment Republicans and Democrats. Now, with that being said, and understanding that, the progressives that are backing the four women that we are discussing realize that the Democrats are no different than the establishment rhinos in the GOP. So in order to move further, they needed to start a civil war in the Democrat Party. And that is why you see the going back and forth between Pelosi and these four women. And this is why rhinos and establishment Democrats would prefer Joe Biden, because Joe Biden would go back to doing business as usual. Now, people get upset with me whenever I say this. I tell them the 12 or so conservatives, true conservatives in Washington, D.C., including when Ron Paul was in office, are failures when it comes to changing or having change or effecting any significant change in the direction of this country as it has been moving prior to Donald Trump. Donald Trump made the difference. And so now these four women are set about to indoctrinate and normalize racist views that are the furthest thing from the truth. There is absolutely nothing racist about telling these four, excuse my French, twits, that if you have got it all together and this country is so bad, why don't you go fix your problems in your home countries first? Go fix those and come back and show us how it's done. Now, that is the context of Trump's tweet, but nobody is going to listen. Nobody is going to read it. They're going to listen to CNN. They're going to listen to MSNBC. They're going to listen to the words of these women calling Donald Trump a racist, and they're going to believe it. And Brian, as Hank Sullivan, I say to him all the time, Hank, I see you spending your time giving details on situations and explaining the history of this country and the Constitution, but it doesn't matter with 80% of the voting populace because they won't go and read it. They won't pay attention. They have been indoctrinated and normalized to think that the country or white men are racist, regardless of the fact that we see all the evidence of things being to the contrary. A booming economy, black people now being able to find jobs. In Georgia, the food stamp rolls have been reduced because people are being able to go and find jobs. Jobs are coming back to this country. And now, at this point in time in history, and I'm going to shut up when I say this, more black people have left the Democrat Party. And if they haven't left the Democrat Party, they have awakened to the fact that Democrats have been lying to them for decades.
Well, let me say this, okay? So, and not to lose our, I like to have a conversation with you, but not to lose our viewers in this. I'm not from here, okay? I was used to being on Girard Avenue in Philadelphia, and people don't know where Allegheny Avenue and Girard is in Philly. You just don't know what you're missing, okay? I've been to Harlem in New York as a kid, hung out there. We won't go into those days in my life, okay?
Right. No problem.
But what I'm saying is I've been around, okay? And I tell people, if you think black voters in America are excited every time I see a poll, now, I'm going to talk directly to you. Right. And every time I see a poll, Joe Biden's doing this well with black voters. I said, listen, if you want me to believe that black voters out there are all excited that this crusty old 76-year-old white guy is going to be the next president, you can't believe those polls. Those are lies. The black community is not excited Joe Biden is going to be their nominee. Now, let me ask you a question, and I want you to talk about that, but also, how is Donald Trump playing in what I call not suburban black communities, what I say like that, in the suburban areas, in Atlanta, in some of the inner cities? How is Donald Trump playing there? Because he said, hey, what the hell you got to lose? I think he's doing better, but how do you think he is actually doing in the cities in America with the black community?
I think he's doing well amongst blacks who pay attention and examine what it is that they're seeing. But we're only talking about 10 to 20% of blacks. So 2 out of 10 get it. 8 out of 10, unfortunately, still don't get it. And the reason that they don't get it is because they have been conditioned to dependence upon the government. I was having a conversation with a man who is I'm 59, and he's about 15 years my senior. And when I started explaining to him certain things about Donald Trump, I said, let's put Trump aside. And I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions. Do you think that blacks should get more time for the same crime as committed by a white person? Of course, his answer was no. I said, do you think that it's okay for blacks to not get a pass on their crimes, but illegals can come across the border and get a pass on theirs. He said, no, I don't. I say, well, who do you think has been leading the charge to change all of that? Donald Trump. Well, I shut him down, and so he got upset and he said, well, I don't care what you say, I'm sticking with the Democrats. I got a big house, I got a big car, I got money in the bank. So that's all that matters to me, and I know it's because of the Democrats. A person like that suffers from cognitive dissonance. There ain't nothing you can do with him, and he represents 80% of black voters, and that's just a fact.
Two more things, and I'm gonna have to go because when I get with you, I mean, we can talk all day about these things. I really enjoy it. I want you to answer this, or when we posted that you were going to be on. This comes from Alice. Alice wrote, they always resort to racism. This is Alice, and I guess we have to identify Alice as white. I mean, my God, what are we doing here today? Alice said they always resort to racism, but Trump's tweet or his speech yesterday that mentioned if you hate the country, leave. Now, pray tell me, this is the question, pray tell me, what is racist about that? What I mean, I guess the media tries to turn and create the news. They create the news. They do not report. They create the news on a daily basis. They create the narrative. They create the 1-minute shots of news. I call them little shots you get in the arm when you're riding in the car and it's top of the hour. You listen to your favorite country music, whatever music you are, and at the top of the hour, those little news shots that go in your arm are created manipulations. That's my opinion on the media.
Correct.
I mean, how do we answer Alice? I mean, what do we do here? I mean, I have to tell you the truth. This is not a joke. This is absolutely not a joke. I wake up and I'm being told that I'm the problem because I'm white. I'm the problem because I don't give my age, but I might be over the 50 mark. I'm a white nationalist because I like Trump. Nancy Pelosi is telling me. Now, I have to say this to you. You have dealt with this. You have dealt with this all through your life, but here I am sitting thinking, how did I get here? Because now I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy today. You know what I mean, Derrick? I'm white. If I like Trump, it means make America white again. White now. I really do, all jokes. I get up some days, Derrick, and I say, how the hell did I become the bad guy this morning?
Well, you became the bad guy because of Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter gave us the Department of Education.
Oh, no, you didn't. I love it, but I know you didn't do that. Go on. Preach on, brother. Go on, man.
And when the federal government got into the Department of Education, critical thinking became a lost art. You've got kids that are graduating from high school can't even write in cursive. So it is our education system. God said, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. So if Nancy Pelosi can say on national TV, Donald Trump really means make America white again, people are going to believe it because they just simply don't know any better, Brian. I mean, that's just the truth of it. That's just the bottom line of it. The prophets of old, would say they cannot hear. They cannot see because they are spiritually blind, and our people are politically blind. So it does not surprise me, and the only thing that we can do is keep crying in the wilderness and keep telling them the truth. Some will wake up, but not all. But the good thing is, Brian, it has never taken the masses to bring about change. It has always been a handful. So you and I must remain in that handful, and so must your listener who just asked the question. We must remain in that handful that will continue to spread the word of truth, because lightness, all the darkness in the world cannot snuff out the light of a single candle. So we just have to keep that candle lit and keep putting that truth out there, because these people don't know any better. And the only way for them to learn or to know is to engage them.
Well,
That's why we do it.
I'm not going to get up in the morning and hate my country, and I'm not going to get up and listen to the media. You know, if I'd listen to them, I'm supposed to hate the place. I'm supposed to hate. I'm supposed to believe that Donald Trump is the divisive president, which I know he's not. I know
Nope.
I listen to his comments, and if they ever made the media, they're very unifying. I watch what he did with the crime bill, so you and I are on the same page. I got 5 minutes to 9. What about the border and the created crisis that the Democrats created, and all of these people running down to the border, especially these 4 ladies that's really kicking off these firestorm? You want to make a quick comment about our crisis on the border?
Sure. It is a crisis. It is a crisis that Democrats and rhinos need, or that they don't want to fix. Donald Trump exposed it as the crisis that it really is. And the people in this country hurt the most by people flooding into our country is black people, or blacks are affected more than anybody else. And you know, we just need to wake up to it and understand Donald Trump is the greatest president since Abraham Lincoln, and that's just a fact. And many people are starting to get that. So we just cannot be swayed by these 4 women and their lies. Now they know the truth, but they are being mastered and led and guided to destroy the narrative of the establishment Democrat and the establishment Republican. They want to overtake that party, and the only way to do that is to keep racism alive. That's just it.
Derrick, I got to go. I appreciate you. I always enjoy our conversations. Runs a little long, but I know when you and I get together, we're going to talk subjects. And I just thank you for being able to have these open conversations like we do, because I know we're going to stay focused and headed in the right direction and do what we can to see that Donald Trump serves a second term in the White House.
He will.
He will.
He will.
That's your prediction. He will win.
That is my prediction. He will be 2020 the president of the United States once more, and then we'll get to working on the Federal Reserve.
Oh, the real stuff's going to happen then. You and I got to
Yes,
have
sir.
a conversation about the 2020 real stuff that's getting ready to happen. He's just got to win that second one. Derrick, I got to run. Appreciate you. I'll be in touch
Thank you,
sometime
Brian.
today. Thank you very much.
All right. Bye.
Okay, it's Derrick Grayson, and he, the minister of truth. And look, it's like I said, you know, you can call it what you want. When Donald Trump gets up on the stage and says, "That's mighty white of you," or whatever, okay, you know, whatever, then call me and say, "Oh, that was racist," you know. But, you know, in this troubled racist time that the media is creating, you know how white people get. We always run and try to talk to our black friends. So I guess that's what I did, all right? Call me whatever. We're going to take a break. We'll come back, and we've got a lot more to break down on this and how the media is trying to manipulate every single story. And then I want to tell you a story. I want to tell you about my day yesterday. And don't take that wrong. I think it's interesting because I'm the white nationalist, I guess is what they want to call me. Hell, I didn't realize that. Take a break, Josh.